that it brings me to my knees. It never runs out, it never runs dry, and I know it's gonna break the chains that hold me down to die. It never runs out, it never runs dry, and I know it's gonna break the chains and raise me to the sky. 'Cause this is love so crazy, I can't understand, though I can't comprehend it. It just keeps on washing over me. Love that will last eternally, free as the air I breathe, yeah. This is a gift we can't justify. We are children, innocent and clean. It never runs out, it never runs dry, and I know it's gonna break the chains that hold me down to die. It never runs out, it never runs dry, and I know it's gonna break the chains and raise me to the sky. This is a love so crazy, I can't understand, though I can't comprehend it. It just keeps on washing over me. Perfectly surrounded, it is holding me. This is what I live for, this is heavenly. Perfectly surrounded, it is holding me. This is what I live for, this is heavenly. 'Cause this is love so crazy, I can't understand, yeah. Though I can't comprehend it, it just keeps on washing over me.
So that's a song called A Love So Crazy from Rebekah Fitch, who joins me now in the studio. Hi, Rebekah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So tell us about that song, A Love So Crazy. Tell us about the background to that.
A Love So Crazy was a song that came from a place of realisation and euphoria. So it was quite different to the other songs that I put out on my EP in February, which were very much about struggles and getting through that, whereas this was more of a calming realisation. I have a really strong faith, and it was about that. Basically, the joy that comes with that. And I just wanted to express it in song, because what other way would you do that, really?
So your EP came out a few months back, and
Yes.
it's been getting some great reviews, hasn't it? People have been describing you as
People
like
have been very
a
kind.
mixture of Stevie Nicks and Bjork and all kinds of things,
All my
haven't they?
favourite people. I know, I'm taking it all and thinking that's great. It really is amazing to have those comparisons, so I'm very grateful.
And getting reviews from the UK, and I know you've done some touring in England as well, haven't you?
Yes, so after the EP came out in February, I did a few Irish dates and then went over to England to do a few more. I was over at uni in England the last 3 years, so got to meet a good few musicians over there as well, and just being able to reconnect with them and go to gigs with them while I was back over was great. Yeah.
And you've just played the Hollywood Harmony Festival, I believe.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was lovely to have such a big event in Hollywood, because that's where I went to school. So that felt very close to home, very special, yeah.
So how did the whole singer-songwriter thing start for you then? When did you start writing songs?
I always found that question really hard, because I was writing songs and I was, really young in primary school,
Right.
but obviously not seriously. I formed a band when I was about 11 and thought I could play guitar. But I guess as I went through school, it just became more and more integral to my life really, and I just knew that I couldn't do anything else, which sounds so cliche, but I'm sure a lot of people can relate who are musicians. You know, everything else kind of pales in comparison to what your passion is. And so from meeting other people and realizing that you actually could have a career in that, and it's not just some pipe dream that people just get, you know, 1 in a million if you win the X Factor or someone signs you. You know, it's actually possible if you work hard and you're talented and you, yeah, I guess working hard is a lot of it, but just being able to realize that you can have a career in that. So I guess when I went to uni, I started to write properly and actually put out songs online and try and get some feedback from them. So I really feel like I've been doing it properly for a couple of years, really. I always find it hard to put a start date on because it's not like I'm a band or we had our first gig together, but I've been singing for ages, so a few years, I think.
Who was your first big influence? Who was the first person you listened to and kind of really discovered music and went, wow, that's amazing?
The first person that I would cite as an influence for myself, I think, would probably be Jessie J, which seems like a weird one, but I think whenever I was about 15, 16, whenever she kind of had her first album out, I'm not really sure when that was, maybe a bit before then, I was just amazed at what she could do with her voice. And that was when I started playing around with my own voice and testing the limits and trying to improve and mimic what she was doing, because not a lot of people are that experimental with their voice. And that was something that really struck me. So that was one of the earlier impetus, I think, in terms
of... From a songwriting side as well, she was writing away before she hit the big time as well.
Yeah, well, that was something as well. You know, I knew she wrote her own songs, and that always makes such a difference for me in terms of their craft and their artistry. You know, is this personal? Is this something that's coming from them? Are they envisioning their own art? Or is it, you know, being factoried, you know, behind the scenes? I love it when people write their own stuff and you can really see that they are an artist, they're not just a singer. So that's really special as well.
So did you come from a musical family?
Well, I have 2 siblings and we've all kind of grown up learning instruments. My mum played instruments when she was younger, but wouldn't really do so much now, whereas my dad has not really had that much of a musical background, but is an avid music lover and would always be listening to music. So I guess that balance between the two is kind of merged into, I love playing it and I love listening to it all the time. So I feel like I did grow up surrounded by music, which is amazing. I mean, that's such a privilege to be able to do that. Back before MP3 players or people wore headphones, you know, it had to be blasting around the house, whereas now people just kind of listen to it in their own little world. So I was exposed to a lot of American rock and stuff when I was growing up, which I still love. It just sounds like childhood to me. So yeah, I feel like I did grow up in a musical environment. I was definitely encouraged to pursue music and all that came with that,
So you're back in the studio at the minute, recording new material.
Yes.
When can we get to hear that?
Over the next few months, I'm going to put out a track, and then I think next year will be a few more tracks in an EP. So just kind of crafting them at the moment and making sure they're the best they can be.
Will you do anything differently this time to what you did the first time around? Have you learned from the first EP?
I think so. I mean, I love playing around with sounds and experimenting. That's something that I found whenever I studied music. I always loved playing around in the studio with different sounds and different techniques. I quite like putting out EPs because then you can really get into the feel of something. It's not just for one song, but you have this cohesiveness with a group of songs that go together and you can really get your teeth into it. So yeah, I like putting out more than one.
Great. Now you're out on the festival circuit this year. What festivals should we look forward to then?
I have got Sunflower Fest and Soundwaves in July, which is in Bangor, and Stentall as well, which I played last year and was amazing. So if people haven't been to that, I would really recommend going to all of them. There's nothing like that really.
If you're at Sunflower Fest, the Sugar Hill Gang as
yes.
well. You're sharing a stage with. It's the most bizarre lineup, but hey.
We go really well together, so.
If people want more information and if they want to find out when they can get this new EP, how do they do that?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those ones, and then my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, everywhere that people listen to music really. And I always tend to put out physical CDs as well for those who still listen to them, because I think it's still cool to have something physical, and my car only plays CDs, so you know.
Will you do one more before you go?
Yes, of course.
What are you going to do this time?
I'm going to play Not Myself,
okay,
which is also off the EP, and I put out as a single last October actually, And we filmed the video for it underwater, and it's the video I'm most proud of because that took a lot of organisation and it was very physically demanding, but yeah, people should check out the video for that. And a lot of my songs deal with mental health issues, and so that was something that I wrote from a place that was quite dark, so it's a real contrast to the first song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a listen then. Not Myself. Here's Rebekah Fitch.
This life to turn me up, exploding into melody. And I tell myself it's worth it all as long as you remember me. Don't be sad that I'm gone for a little while. Stitched up smile. Yeah, my head is a bomb and it's been rewired. Yeah, but I have no regrets asking for a try. All the lights are trying to call me. I've been going in another life, but I am falling. Drowning in the sea, and I am not myself, can't understand what's happening to me, and only sleep can pull me out of living dreams and memories, yeah, and I want this life to tear me up, exploding into melody, and I tell myself it's worth it all. Remember me. Ooh, ooh, hey, oh, yeah. And I'm here in the valley of the shadow of death, but he won't seem to talk to me. And it's a brand new place that I have never been, so excuse me, I'm not ready to leave. And I'm here in the valley of the shadow of death, but he won't seem to talk to me. And it's a brand new place that I've never been, so excuse me, I'm not ready to leave. And I am not myself, can't understand what's happening to me, yeah. And only sleep can pull me out. I live in dreams and memories, yeah. And I want this life to tear me up, exploding into melody. And I tell myself it's worth it.